Soul Garden.
Hello my heroes, and welcome back to Soul Horoscopes Weekly Edition. I'm your host to the universe, Christopher Witecki. And pardon my little hiatus, it was sort of forced when Jupiter hit my sun. I do appreciate all the prayers and all the energy, and everyone who also is continuing with the GA services. Thank you so much. Your prayers worked. And because I'm tired of being cooped up in a studio or a hospital, we are outside now. We're moving into the new SG Neptune version, which is a more intuitive, psychic, cool version of SG. Now, because we're starting off a little bit late, we're going to dive right into Wednesday. I want to get back on the air as soon as I was feeling good. It has been a turbulent time indeed, Aries. Really, for the last 30 days while I was recovering, you were working on your intellect. And intellect is going to be a big part of this next coming year. Now we're about to shift signs from Gemini to Cancer during this week. So we're leaving the initial setup of intellect, but intellect will be a big story moving forward thanks to Jupiter. You'll see more in the maps in just a minute. So Jupiter is going to be expanding intellect as we move on. As we begin on Wednesday, we're on the total line. It's 29 degrees Gemini. And I always say this is the tested degree. The 29 degree means that emotionally you might feel pulled back to the beginning of that chapter when the sun initially crossed over Jupiter and initiated all of this, leaving Taurus and into Gemini. So in this very last day, we'll be texting for those watched over in GA. Just keep moving forward. Feel what feels right and act on it. Push forward because you've got a lot to learn when it comes to the right attitude, the right thinking, the right words to say, or if you're becoming a messenger, which is what a lot of this is about. A lot of Aries is stepping up into the messenger role, stepping up into the teacher role now. You're going to have all year to do it. As you'll see here in just a second, we've got other things to work on. On Thursday, it's 0 degrees. 0 always means 0. The sun is going to move into Cancer. And this is moving into the next awareness for you, which you're working on for the next 30 days, which is your self-nurturing. As the sun moves into Cancer, I predict things will be a lot calmer than they have been the first 6 months of 2012. You'll be working on your emotional state of awareness and how well you self-nurture. Now, this next 30 days is super important because this will establish how well you are fed or not fed in the next challenging year and how well you manage your emotions. So as we start off in the 0 degree, things will feel a little bit offline. The moon is also in Cancer, so although the emotions and awareness is focusing to emotions, emotions might be running a little wild. They might be running over the map. They're certainly reviewing the last 30 days you just lived, so have a nice break on yourself. Don't take things too hard. Things aren't getting worse. It's just that your emotions are starting to catch up with you after a tremendous 30-day cycle we had in Gemini. Then move to Friday. Things kind of click into gear. The sun's going to come out to play. That's because the sun will now click into 1 degree on Friday. The moon also moves into Leo, which is going to shift your emotions from self-nurturing and your inner child's weaknesses to your inner child's heart. So this is really the theme of the whole weekend, where you're going to start to feel love again. You're going to start to feel your inner child again. And on Friday, that indeed starts to happen. Now, if the inner child is deprived, if it hasn't had any fun the last 30 days, you could go into a temper tantrum on Friday. That sometimes is the first thing we do, is pout and demand things to change and get out all of our inner child frustrations. Being an Aries, you're already young-spirited anyways, so it's very common for there to be a little thunderstorm at the start of it. So you might have some minor thunderstorms on Friday, but then by the end of the day, it should be rainbows and lollipops and cotton candy if you're doing your soul work right. And the sun is clearly planted now in Cancer, so you're going to have emotional little timekeeper with you all the time. You're going to know how you feel the next 30 days. Moving to the weekend, Saturday is a fun day because Venus, hallelujah, goes direct. Venus has been retrograde for some time, forcing us to have to receive only from within. That was a big part of me being in the hospital. That was probably a part of whatever you went on the last 30 days. God did not give us free candy. We had to find our inner self. We had to find our inner resources. Now that Venus moves direct on Saturday, you'll begin to start to receive from the world. In other words, people will be there for you. You'll be able to be there for people. And since you have gone so long without receiving, by all means have gratitude. That is the attitude as you begin to receive. Considering that you are working on your own self-nurturing, your own nest, the way you take care of your emotions, particularly important to receive. This is not the time to be a hero. hero, this is a time to go ahead and let the world take care of you. Allow yourself and your batteries to be recharged, and that begins on Saturday. Love, therefore, rules on Saturday, so if you're feeling any emotion, it should be love and creativity. And the moon is particularly empowered on Saturday, so whatever emotions you are feeling, if it's that temper tantrum or if it's that you need more self-nurturing, you'll really feel it on Saturday. So if shift hits the fan on Saturday, things are going right, says Chris Witecki. On Sunday, it's going to be a better day. Jupiter rules the day on Sunday, so it'll be optimistic. The universe is trying to help you get to the bottom of what doesn't feel right. So if you're not feeling good from Friday to the whole point that I predicted, it's because you have not identified the emotional issues. Emotional issues, which is this whole month's issue. How well do you nurture your own emotions? Do you swallow your emotions and forge ahead? Do you always go to rage but no other vocabulary of emotion? Whatever the problems are when it comes to your emotional self-nurturing, these are going to begin to come out in the next 24 hours moving into Monday when I come back with the scope. So be on advisement that you might have a breakdown if you're completely blind to the truth of how you actually feel. If you're super aware of how you feel, it's just going to suck because you're going to really feel it. But remember, the whole point of this month is to upgrade your emotions so that you can be emotionally there for yourself when no one else can. And that is part of what being a hero requires, a self-sustaining emotional nest. All right, my heroes, it is so good to be back and be outside. Thank you so much for logging in and coming back. Have a good 4 days, and I'll see you soon. Live, love, be.